Understanding Amazon SEO in 2023. So, SEO is an important part of your listing. However, SEO is woven into a number of factors, including your listing quality. So, while SEO is an important part that you should consider, it's going to be intrinsically tied to the overall conversion rate of your product, which has to do with many factors. It could do with photography, it could do with the way that you arrange your information, not only the keywords, but where they are placed. So let's talk about some products. Let's go to weighted blankets. I haven't looked in weighted blankets recently. Let's see what's going on. They're all in depression gray. Perfect color. So everything about a listing plays into the SEO, even things that you wouldn't think of. So Helium 10 is doing a great job of showing us some information up here. These products are all in different categories, and the typical advice is that you want to list your product in a category with your competitors so that you'll show up on the search page with them. However, if you can find a more smaller category, that would be better. Look at these blankets. If these blankets were listed in kids' blankets like this one is, they might get a bestseller badge, not because they are particularly best-selling, but because kids' bed blankets is probably a small category. So usually sellers will look for more minute categories so that they're more likely to get a bestseller badge. Title is extremely important for your SEO. And it's a piece of SEO that a lot of sellers don't think about. We can see for the weighted blankets category that having the size of the blanket appears to be very important in the title. And we know that because all of the ranking competitors here have it in the title. I bet you if we scroll halfway down the page, we're going to see competitors that are missing that. And that is no doubt a part of why they aren't ranking very well. We've got two sponsored results that have them. This one doesn't have it at all. This one did it incorrectly because it's at the very end. See that? These two are organic ranking and they have it in the body of the title. So you can just see an overall snapshot of listing quality by not even visiting the exact listings. Let's see here. So that's a piece of the SEO. Title should be fairly long. It should be between 100 to 150 characters. How long it should be depends on your category manager, but I think that you should max it out until you're ... Now, all of the important information that you need the customer to know needs to be before your ... So in your category, you should copy paste some of the search results and figure out how many characters you get before you get to the ... Anything that appears after this is only for the algorithm, not for your customer to read, and you might be able to fit in a couple more words back there. So let's see. Looking at these products, I probably would say this one has the highest revenue. Again, bestseller badge is probably not playing into this very well, and you can see it's pretty dominated by Chinese sellers. All right, so these are all sponsored. Highest goes to Top Key by far. So this is a much more successful product, so I want to investigate this one. Right in the middle of price, not too high, not too low. Amazon's Choice for weighted blanket queen size. Amazon's Choice just means the highest converting product in your category for that phrase. So if you find a product that's Amazon's Choice that's your competitor, you definitely want to steal some of their ideas because they are probably performing well for a reason. It's just, it can be difficult to figure out why they're necessarily converting better. It could be something about the main image. Definitely, we're probably going to find that this product is up to Amazon's terms of service. They don't have any images that are small on one side. their title is long enough, they have all their back end fields filled out, and this is part of SEO. Helium 10 wants to give them a 10. So Helium 10 is not canon for what you're supposed to do on Amazon, but it can give you a good indication of how good the listing is. So images are all the right size. We have enough images. We have up to 7. These are all aspects of SEO. How many images are on your product is part of your SEO for sure. Anything that I can say, it is an input that the algorithm basically checks a box, and Amazon will give you an internal listing score. That counts for SEO. Notice there's no weird typos or strange spacing here. It's all very well formatted, and I think that's really important. Other consultants might not say it's as important, but I think it is. We're going for about 150 characters on the bullet points. Most important thing for your SEO is your most important keyword phrases need to go here. It's the heaviest weight for keywords. So when I place a keyword in a listing, my most important ones are going here. I'm telling the algorithm, I am, number one, a weighted blanket. That's why you'll see unsuccessful products. You'll have like 7 words before you get to weighted blanket. That would be an unsuccessful way to create SEO. And it's just because the algorithm has to read a lot of words before it gets to what you actually are. And you used to see that in the earlier days, maybe around 2017. You would see a lot of descriptors: top key, breathable, heavy, gray, beads, glass, weighted blanket. And sellers found out that that wasn't a very successful way to write titles. So most important keywords go in the title. Second most important words go in the bullet points. So you'll see this is actually a mistake, but it's less important of a mistake. If you write a good listing and you have SEO mistakes in there, you'll get away with them. I follow the rule never to have repeat keywords because it's a bad way to use my real estate. It used to be believed that if you used the same keyword many times that it would like be better, and I understand that comes from Google SEO, but Amazon SEO is not like that. Use a phrase once and you're good. And you can see how you would probably run out of keywords. A weighted blanket, it's probably only called a weighted blanket. You probably don't have alternative phrases. And so if you have an SEO person that's working for you and you're like, man, you just didn't put that many keywords in here, they probably did a reverse ASIN search and pulled out all the keywords that they could for you, and they ran out of ones that would reasonably be used. And you get into pretty strange phrases after a while, and you don't want to make your listing sound weird. I would always go for readability and beauty of language over crazy amounts of keywords trying to fill in. I've seen one consultant that did a pretty smart thing. She would write 4 bullet points, and then the 5th bullet point would always be dedicated to some strange keywords. So she would write them in a smart way. I've seen it with, let's say, boric acid suppositories, where we can't write like treatment or a lot of things like that, but most of the keywords in that category are vaginosis treatment, BV treatment, a lot of words that aren't allowed to use. So it was written FDA warning. This product is not meant to be used as BV treatment, comma, vaginosis treatment. All of the words that she wasn't allowed to use is very smart. And that's typical to have your FDA warning somewhere on your Amazon listing if you're a restricted supplement like that. Supplements category is getting it's always been pretty full of competition, and they're getting tighter with FDA requirements. So I'm going to show you how I have always pulled SEO for a keywords list for a category. Not every freelancer does this. I think it's the best way. So I'm going to determine what your product is. And the way that I'm going to determine that is I need to find what can I search for that's going to bring up your product. So if you, let's say you're a company that sells a weighted blanket, but you sell a pink one, I might look for a phrase that's going to bring up pink weighted blankets. Now it's easy in this category because I'm just probably going to say pink weighted blankets. It's not so easy in other categories where I have to search for a while before I get results like your product. It would be improper to say, oh, I'm going to reverse ASIN search these products because they're like my product. It doesn't matter. It's what matters is what shelf, and the shelf is the key word. What shelf do people find me on? That's the consideration. So if you are maybe a weighted blanket that's 5 pounds, you probably want to reverse ASIN search the products that are ranking for 5 pounds rather than 3 pounds. And if you search generally, you're going to get a mix of both. So what I'm doing with a reverse ASIN search is this is going to tell me the phrases that people searched for in this product's entire life that they bought the product for. So it's going to tell me in order what phrases these products rank for, but it's also going to give me all the information on the back end of that listing where people have searched for the product and bought it. It's not going to show me any keywords where people searched for it and didn't buy it. So I'll get some extra extraneous words always, because people come in from advertising, people come in from different places that might not be so specific to the product. Classically, if you have a product that you're working on that has tons and tons of past purchases, maybe it's got 10,000 reviews, you'll get all kinds of strange words at the end of your list. Applesauce, stuff that doesn't even apply. But it appears at the end of the list. The beginning of the list here is the most important keywords, and I know that because they're ranked by ranking competitors count. So if I searched for one product, it would give me the organic rankings. So it would say, here's all the phrases that this product ranks number 1 for. Here's all the phrases that this product ranks number 2 for. Why that's important to me is it gives me a balance of specificity to search volume. It's going to show me everything that I could probably rank number 1 for pretty easily. But if a product's ranking number 2 or 3 for it, it probably means that it's not as relevant for that. So probably lower on this list, I'm going to start seeing gray blankets, but this is a pink blanket, so it probably doesn't rank as well for gray blankets, and that's appropriate. So I'm gonna pull probably the first 200 rows here, and usually I pull the first 200 rows because that's how much my listing processor wants to take. I use another part of this program that helps me write the listing. You can pull more rows, and I'll export this information here. Nope. They removed it. I'll take a bulk report in CSV. And this is going to give me pretty much every phrase that I'm ever going to need because it's the top 4 ranking products, plenty of sales history. Anything that's not on this list is probably not going to be relevant. I'm not going to find any diamonds in the rough by going in and searching weighted blankets that aren't ranking that well. So keywords are pretty easy to find. To get a keywords list is pretty easy, and it's fairly easy to determine the competitors in this case. The art of it is where the placement is, and you're always striking a balance in what to target between specificity and enough search volume. So you don't want to go too broad and you don't want to go too narrow. That's the art of this. Probably for your pink weighted blanket, I'm going to choose pink weighted blanket. Now, it makes sense to me that most of these ranking competitors have not, because they're selling gray weighted blankets, and most of their traffic is going to come to the listing from the gray one, and they're going to select the pink one if they want the pink one. But the algorithm is smart enough to give us a pink one on the search page. So usually I would only target pink weighted blanket if your only variation on your listing was pink, because I know that customers will not be able to find your product in any other way, and so I would be safe to put that in your listing. Other thing you can do is put it specifically. So this one is pink, but it's just not, it's further on in the title. And that's pretty common when you have a lot of variations, because you end up having your attributes end up on the end because you're not relying on your SEO so much. So I think that's a good explanation of that. What else do I want to talk about SEO? Backend factors are very important. Amazon has a part of this, the listing quality dashboard, which will tell you which listings you need to fill out important information for, material type, style, all kinds of things. Very important to have those inputs. And Amazon will gripe with you if you don't put those inputs, even if they don't seem important. What else do I want to talk about? Alt image tags on the back end of your A+. That's good to do. They index immediately when you enter the page. There is no alt image tag on this. Their alt image tag is 1. So whoever created this A+ page was rushing. Let me see if I can find one that does have alt image tags to show you. Or maybe they weren't rushing, but they just didn't care to put any in. You get up to 100 characters of extra SEO there. A lot of the time you've already used all the keywords that you want to, and so it's understandable that sometimes you wouldn't put anything there. But for example, you could put in Spanish keywords. So their alt image tag is weighted blanket queen size. So they've put in some SEO. Indexes immediately when you submit the page, and we can test that because we can put in a word here and then do a listing index checker. It's different than a reverse ASIN search, and the index checker will come up with that word immediately. So just more added SEO for you. This A+ page is atrocious. I design these A+ pages professionally, so I feel like I'm allowed to say that. That's a good basic overview of SEO. I could do an hour-long seminar on Amazon SEO, but this is your basic inputs. Second most important area for SEO. Third most important is your backend search terms. Fourth most important is your description. And the reason is because obviously your description is often overwritten by an A+ page these days. So it almost just becomes an extra keyword section for you. Thank you so much for watching.